Welcome to Women Mastering Midlife, where we dive deep into the rich complexities of womanhood in our middle years. I'm your host, Victoria Bird, a pharmacist, certified women's health coach, and your guide on this transformative journey. Whether you're navigating perimenopause, thriving in menopause, or mastering midlife's many transitions, this is your weekly dose of expert guidance, compassionate support, and a judgment-free space to explore it all. Here, we're empowering women to master midlife on their terms, reclaiming our health, our happiness, and our power. Together, we'll rewrite the narrative around this remarkable stage of life, from something to dread into a beautiful, bold transition. I'm so glad you're here. So it's really funny. I just finished recording 20 minutes of myself talking. And I was like, oh, I got to redo this. So this is episode 1 of year 2. So this is like season 2. Here we are, right? And I have done episodes every single week. You have heard me come on your podcast every week. I can't believe it. I never thought this was going to happen. I put off for years doing a podcast. And then when I finally did, I was like, no one's going to want to come on and talk to me. And then I thought to myself, no one's going to want to listen. And then I started having guests and I started really digging the conversations. Like, ooh, this is fun. Selfishly, I am having conversations with some of the most amazing and interesting and bold women out there. And we are pushing the midlife narrative into the direction it needs to go. And so I got more and more excited about who I was having to join me. And then I started getting more comfortable talking to myself. It's hard. I can talk on Insta stories all day long. Like, you guys are all listening to me talk to myself. But for some reason, a podcast, like, does anybody really want to listen to me that long? So I do love having a mix of guests, and I love having conversations around the latest health research, menopause care, so that you can become an advocate for yourself, connecting you with experts that you never knew to follow and learn from. And we did fun things like I had a House of Color expert come on and talk about the importance of wearing the right colors, is to stop wearing beige and hiding in the background. Stop being a wallflower. Start standing in your power and dress the right way. I had Monica come on, the closet therapist, talking about finding a way to make to wear your clothes instead of your clothes wearing you. I've had nurse practitioners come on. My very first episode was with Jacqueline Piasta, who now has this large following of women who have embraced. She's just such a brilliant menopause care provider, and she's such an advocate for women's health, and she is pushing the narrative every day. And I am so excited. I'm so thankful that I had a conversation with her. Dr. Aoife O'Sullivan came on twice, and she and I talked about HRT and switching the script off on that. And then we had a deep dive into perimenopause and what exactly is it and how do you treat it, because there's no textbook on perimenopause because it's so different for everyone. It's even more different than menopause. I've had pelvic floor specialists. I had a pleasure sex educator. I had a teacher come on and talk about having sex, having the sex conversation with your teen kids. I had a conversation around launching children. It was one of my biggest episodes, was launching your children and rediscovering yourself. How do we send our kids off to college? I will be replaying that episode. Don't you worry. We will have some reels and a suggestion to go back and listen to it this year, because there's so many of you who are at the point where you're going through graduations this month and you're like, my baby is going to college. How do I deal with this? That was a brilliant episode. My most listened to episode was about chronic dieting and getting off of that cycle with Dr. Verena Phillips. She's a Faster Way to Fat Loss coach. Our conversation was amazing. And I am an ambassador for her fat loss coaching because I have used Faster Way since 2017, 2018, intermittently. I love their workouts. Their app interface is amazing. They keep changing it up. They keep adding more tech to it. The meal plans are easy. You can plug it all in. Your macros get calculated for you. It is a program that if you're interested in fat loss and you're interested in macro tracking, that's the place to start. So I had a conversation with Verena about that. I've like been able to have access to books that have been so awesome. Embrace the Middle. And Debbie Weiss came on. She's an author who talks about her journey of like changing her mindset and how she's a normal everyday woman. And she had the ability to write a book, which she never thought she would because she changed her mindset. And the conversations I'm having next year already, like top tier. I can't wait for season 2, right? So thank you. I just want to say thank you. I don't want this to be a 25-minute episode this week. I want you to take the time that I am not going to spend talking at you about how awesome this last year was and go back through the library. And I want you to tap save on every single topic you want to listen to at some point. There are 52 episodes, at least 50 episodes of beautiful, curated conversations around midlife women's health and wellness and life. It wasn't just, this is HRT, this is how you use it, this is menopause, this is what happens. We got into having relationships and grief around the ambiguous grief of this transition and how to move through that when you're grieving things. I shared personal stories about my health struggle with perimenopause, and I've shared episodes about perimenopause anxiety and mood swings, and we've gotten into some stuff this year. So I'm going to keep this episode super brief. I'm sure my podcast editor is going to be super stoked that this is a quick one to put out. But I want you to take the time that I'm not making you listen to me today. And please go through, rate the podcast, share it with a friend, leave a review of what you've loved this year. Message me and tell me what you want to hear next year. Download and save any episode that you're like, oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. And while I'm pumping out new stuff, the old stuff is still just as juicy and good. Thank you to all of my guests this last year for coming on, for trusting me. I mean, goodness, Jacqueline Piazza was my very first podcast guest ever. I apologize. Thank you for being so brave to come on. Thank you for tolerating a girl who didn't really know what she was doing. We're up in our game. Maybe she'll come back and she'll be like, wow, this is so much better than last time. But I want to just acknowledge that these women sent me their books. They shared their stories. They shared their knowledge. They wanted to connect with me to help connect you to things that you need to master midlife. And I looked up the definition of mastering when I was thinking of a title. So I wanted it to be catchy, but I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea that mastering meant we have all the answers. And that's not what it means. Mastering something means putting forth the energy and the effort and the knowledge to finally understand something. And so we are mastering midlife. It's not nailed down. And you know what? Before this episode airs, I'm sure I have felt like my midlife has flipped upside down 75 times since, right? So it's not necessarily an issue of mastering, because sometimes it's thriving in midlife and sometimes it's a total crappy nightmare circus and we're doing the best we can. But we still keep putting one foot forward, and women are very resilient, and women are, the stronger sex. And we are capable of so many amazing things. So just watch us shine, because we're coming at you. And next year, I promise you, I will no longer bridle my opinions. I will no longer be cautious that my opinion might be too loud or too strong. I'm done playing small. So next year, be ready, because here we come. Thank you for listening to this episode of Women Mastering Midlife. If something you heard today resonated, I'd be so grateful if you'd share it with a friend who might need a little extra support on her midlife journey.
Remember, small changes can make a big difference, and you don't have to navigate this transition alone. We will be back next week with more expert guidance and compassionate conversations to help empower you to master midlife on your terms. Until then, you can find us on Instagram at Women Mastering Midlife, or come connect with me directly at Miss Victoria Bird. And you're looking for deeper connection and support, be sure to join us in the Women Mastering Midlife community. We'd love to continue the conversation with you there. If you've enjoyed this episode, please rate and review this podcast. It helps us reach more amazing women mastering midlife just like you. You'll find all the links from today's episode and ways to connect in the show notes below. See you next time.